folks, welcome to race number 5 of Race to Zero Hour. I'm Sarthak, and alongside me, as always here at Race to Zero Hour, is Gouts. Gouts, how you been, bro?
Sarthak, been good as always, Sarthak, and looking forward to this race. Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
The first time we're going to be doing Saudi Arabia in RTZH.
Yeah, and I'm excited as always, especially going into turn 1. We saw some incredible action out on track in the Bwoah Racing League. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Saudi Arabia in the BRL was absolutely brilliant. And, I mean, very exciting to watch. A few unpredictable results there as well, if I'm not wrong. Overall, a very good race. And honestly, in my opinion, it's a very fun track to drive on. Very satisfying, especially if you get the first sector right. So let's see how it goes, Sarthak.
Yeah, looking forward to
this one.
Yeah, 13 drivers out on track soon enough. Will be out on track for shock qualifying. For those of you who are new, shock qualifying is 18 minutes long, and each driver gets to set a lap time which will decide their spot on the grid. Now, as we stay on board Deathwish, who just exited the pit lane, I believe there's a change the game has made. The developers of the game have made, rectifying an issue they were experiencing. Drivers were experiencing, in fact.
I think it was more of they haven't really rectified an issue per se. I think they've only introduced more of a signal indicator that specifies how good the connectivity of a certain driver is. So it's just basically a few symbols that come in to say if one or more players, have issues with their internet, or if the host's network connection is poor, or if my network connection, for instance, is also poor. So it's just basically a lot of signals, a lot of news that they've introduced.
Interesting.
But yeah, nothing relevant, to be honest.
That's disappointing, and somehow an upgrade of sorts. So since the last time we raced out on track. Hopefully they can bring more improvements. I've found myself gotten kicked out of the lobby after the game got crashed. So we got to stick to comms. Anything interesting happening out on track right now?
Yes, Sarthak. Actually, every single car is out on track. There is not a single car in the pits at the moment. So everybody on their outlaps for now. Nobody has started a hot lap yet. And Dalvin, being the last to come out of the pits, our previous race winner, obviously. So expecting to see him do something good today, as well. Yeah. So let's see how that goes, Sarthak.
Mind you, Dalvin did not start on pole position in Japan. He did not. Yet somehow he braved through it all the chaos that was ensuing, and came out on top, especially that last lap, which we were looking at him go completely, make sure he blocks off the racing line itself, no gap for the competitor close behind. That was incredible to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, Dalvin drove a splendid race last time around, and it was also a very good strategy, to be honest, on his side, which worked out in his favor in the end. And interestingly, speaking about strategies, there are 3 drivers out of the 13 drivers out on track right now who are on the medium tires: Mr. Vex, Envy, and Andre. So if you've noticed, Sarthak, Envy and Andre have not been, how do I put it, have been 2 drivers who have most of the time been on the medium tires in quali for most of this RTZH. So that's something interesting to see. It's something they seem to be doing quite a lot. And
another significant things are happening out on track. Assassin X just said purple sector 2. At least when he exited the sector, he did have it as being the fastest one through that part of the track. Sector 2 lighting up yellow. I'm assuming it's a couple of cars making sure they give way to the ones on fast laps. But let's stay on board Assassin X, who sets the fastest lap time, the first lap time on the board, of course, 1 minute 30.877.
Definitely, and Envy immediately beating that lap time by about 1.6 seconds on the medium tires, and doing a 1:29.2 there. Good lap time by Envy, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot faster lap times than this.
Of course. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to see lap times out of KDB. You know, he's coming out of a high after winning the BRL race last weekend when we were out on track. And my memory's gone down the drain, hasn't it? I don't even remember which BRL race we had.
We had the Bahrain GP, Sarthak.
Oh, the rerun, of course. Fair enough for me to forget it, because it was a struggle even having it twice. But yeah, I missed out on it big time.
Absolutely. And that's a race I won't forget because it was a disaster for myself and McLaren.
Oh, okay. Yeah, more on that when it's the BRL race, I guess. Let's stay on board Abhi. He's on a fast lap. And as you mentioned, Mr. Wex and Andre on the mediums might just be trying to match that lap time which Envy's set.
Definitely, and we've already seen Andre. He's really strong in qualifying. He's put up some amazing lap times in the past few qualifying sessions. And oh, there you go, KDB with a 1:29.0 on the soft tires, 2 tenths faster than Envy. But again, a significant point to note is that Envy is on the mediums. He has set his lap time on the mediums, so he will be significantly a lot faster on the softs.
Now, staying on board Andre as he exited sector 2. An interesting racing line he chose to take out of the corner. And as he comes across the final corner, this is where we'll get to see some cheeky plays from some of the drivers, especially last time around in the BRL Saudi Arabian GP. We saw Derp and Envy making sure they back off even though they're in the race lead, just to ensure they have DRS come the main straight.
Definitely, yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of that today, for sure. I mean, we do have Envy's already proved to be really quick, and there you go. There's Andre and Mr. Wex in P3 and P4 on the medium tires. They've set pretty good times. And Mr. Wex there almost 8 tenths slower than Envy, and Andre about 6 tenths slower than Envy. So again, like I mentioned, Sathak, we're going to be seeing a lot faster times as well. This is just the beginning, as a lot of drivers are yet to set their times. As we already know, Streeter is incredibly quick. Abhi has not disappointed us. Dark Legacy is someone to look out for. Harry Rocks has proven to be quick in qualifying, and Dalvin. Of course, there's Dalvin.
Of course, and Davin's sitting in the garage, but it's Hyros24 who's on a fast lap as he comes across sector 3. Nothing's lit up purple just yet, but we know he's been performing extremely well in race to 0R in the past couple of races.
Oh, definitely. He has been doing well. He has also picked up podium, if I'm not wrong. Was it in China?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was in China. So podium in China as well. So pretty good showing in race to 0R, to be honest. Impressive. He's living up to the pace that he actually has, trying to complete races, and it's really good to see that from him.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to see it out on track this time around as well. Seems like we have issues with the stream, I believe, and I'll just make sure I solve that on my end. Regardless, keep it rolling in the comms box. Guts, who do you reckon will be out on top?
So, looking at the lap times right now, KDB's time is obviously going to be beaten by Envy, because Envy is on the softs right now. So, Envy will be about 7 to 8 tenths faster than his medium time, than his time on the mediums. And Dalvin hasn't even set a lap time yet. KDB is out on track right now on his out lap, and he will definitely be looking to improve his time. And I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of time left, a lot of time that he can gain, actually. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And Andre has also seemed to have switched to the softs in the pits. Mr. Wex has done 2 laps on his mediums and is also in the pit. So I'm not really sure if he's going to go out on these softs. And I think Streeter has set a really good time as well. He set a 1:29.6 on the soft tires, which puts him in P3 behind KDB and Envy. And Saptak, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Dalvin and Harry Rocks can come up with now, seeing that they're 2 of the fastest drivers on track who haven't really set a lap time yet.
Yeah, I'd reckon Hyros24 coming in the top 5, and Dalvin, of course, picking off the fastest lap. Then again, qualifying session might just not play into his hands. But KDB's out on track, which I'm looking forward for. He was coming out of the garage when I last disconnected. So, is he on a fast lap by now?
Yeah, he's on his outlap, and no, he's going back into the pits. I wonder what happened there. I
Okay.
have a feeling. Did he lose his wing or something? I'm not really sure what happened to KDB, but he seems to be going back into the pits. So something. Oh yes, he has actually lost a part of his wing. So he definitely has damage. I think that's why he's going back into the pits right now. But yes, on other parts of the track we have. I think is Dalvin setting a lap time, or will he be going in for the? Nope, Dalvin's slowing down. So yeah, I don't think Dalvin's going to be setting a lap time here. I think he's going to be going in for the mediums, if I'm not wrong. He did the same last time as well.
Yeah.
So I reckon he's going to do the exact same thing this time. Harry Rocks is on his outlap, so looking to see if Harry Rocks will be. Sorry, he's on his outlap, and he will be starting. Yes, he will be starting his hot lap.
Okay,
Fanatical has an invalidated lap time, and I wonder if he's going to be setting his lap time on the next lap or if he's going to be boxing for a fresh set of tires, Sarthak.
But let's stay on board. Harryox24, he is on a fast lap, probably his first lap time on the board. Unless a mishap happens, he will be able to, and as I say that, he does go ahead and invalidate his lap time. He is now bolting to the line to make sure he can start the another fast lap soon enough. And we might just have, Gouts, another lobby, considering the timer, at least on my screen, has glitched out and it says 17 minutes.
Okay, let's see how that goes. So far on my screen it says 6 minutes 30 seconds.
Okay, alright.
So on that front at least there isn't much of a problem.
Okay, good.
Let's see how it goes though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, out on track, nothing strange. Andre has gone ahead and invalidated his lap time as well. Invalidated his lap time. Vex, the other Ferrari out on track currently, on a fast lap as well, hasn't invalidated it like Hyrox did. So we might just see a quicker lap time out of Vex.
Absolutely, and Mr. Vex is coming. Oh, that was a good corner by him. Let's stay aboard Mr. Vex then. Taking those corners quite well is Mr. Vex. Oh, he could have cut that curve a lot more there, to be honest. Must have just lost himself a tenth or two.
Yeah, and after Hyrox24's invalidation, folks in the chat are rooting for a race ban for me, but it's Abi, the person who we've not spoken about one bit today, setting the fastest lap time, Deathwish, making sure he's not in the way of Mr. Vex, but was evidently so. 1 minute 28.973. What do you think about that lap time, Gouts?
That's the fastest time we've seen so far today. So that is a pretty solid lap time. I think even if the other drivers do improve, Abhi may not drop below P5 at most. So pretty solid lap time by him. He's about a tenth faster than KDB, little less than a tenth, but still. KDB on his outlap, I think he seems to be heating up his tires and should be starting his hot lap in about 5 seconds. So let's stay about KDB. I'm sorry, Envy. My bad, that was Envy who was on his outlap. KDB is already on a hot lap. My bad, sorry folks.
No problem. Seems like he locked up the front left into turn 1. Meanwhile, Vex, of course, something we missed out on. Vex, fastest driver out on track on the mediums. He did better. His lap time puts him 4th fastest out on track. How many minutes left to shock qualifying, Gouts?
4 minutes and 15 seconds, Sarthak.
Okay.
And as you said, Mr. Vex has done 3 laps on those mediums, which means he will be... Oh, KDB putting in a really solid lap time there, a 128.4. That is quite a lap, to be honest. Gonna be hard to beat. All eyes on Envy now. I'm sorry, wait. Yeah, all eyes on Envy now. Oh, who has invalidated his lap time.
Exactly. Oh, goes into the wall there. Thankfully, he doesn't retire from the session. Will continue. hopefully he can get in another lap time before the session ends. Meanwhile, Vex on a fast lap, he probably is in lap, but seems like he's pushing it to the limit though.
I think he may be on his own lap because, to be honest, pushing these mediums so much is not a good idea. Because
Yeah.
at race start, he will be the most vulnerable on track. Because again, remember, Sarthak, the tires that he qualifies on are the tires that he'll be starting with.
Yeah.
So 3 laps old mediums, that's quite a lot of wear for the race start. So Vex will be at a massive disadvantage at race start. So I'm actually really curious to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, looking forward to it. How many minutes for qualifying? And Vex has retired from the session. Fourth fastest out on track. Can he keep that come race start?
Only one way to tell, Sarthak. We'll need to see how his race start goes. Then again, the last race, I don't know if it was the BRL or the RTZH race, Vex did have lobby issues and problems with the race start itself. And hopefully that won't happen today. And yes, Sarthak, I'm really curious to see how his race start is going to go, given he's got really old mediums.
Yeah, and let's talk about how many minutes left to shock qualifying.
About 2 minutes 20 seconds left.
Okay, so good enough time.
Yeah, I think Dinara one up is on his outlap, and Harry Rocks has surprisingly not set a lap time yet. And he is the lap he's currently on is in. Okay, and Dalvin is going to be starting his hot lap now, Sarthak. I think we can stay on board Dalvin.
Yeah,
and spectate him as he does his hot lap on the medium tires.
Okay, just as a warning, Gouts, the last 2 drivers I was on board on their fast laps, both of them ended up invalidating it. Folks in the chat are already mad at me and is calling for a race ban for me. So yeah, let's just hope we don't invalidate Dalvin's time. He did go extremely wide. I'm surprised game hasn't invalidated his lap time. There you go. I've done it again.
It's invalidated. So looks like Dalvin won't be setting a lap time. Also, Sarthak, I have gotten a report from one of the drivers saying that the lobby has been glitched.
Yes.
We may have to consider creating a new lobby. So, folks, after quali has ended, please give us some time to sort out whatever's wrong.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get that lobby up in no time, and hopefully we'll see a lap time from the likes of Dalvin, perhaps, or not. I'm just that I'm lost, considering I have no idea how much time's left to shock qualifying. So until then, Streeter second fastest. That's something we might have missed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Streeter was. I'm so sorry, Sarthak. I'm just trying to sort out a small issue.
No problem. Meanwhile, folks in the chat, make sure you drop who you're here for. Which one of these 13 drivers do you think come race will be in front ahead of the rest of the pack into turn 1? But as it stands, it looks like this will be the order. KDB on pole position. Streeter starting on the front row, right alongside him.
To answer your question, there's only 9 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
In this one, and Dalvin is in fact on a hot lap right now.
Oh, okay. I called it too early.
He will be able to complete his hot lap.
Yeah,
he will be able to complete his hot lap. And yeah, Harry Rocks has not set a lap time. His qualifying has ended. So for now, until Dalvin sets his lap time, KDB has provisional pole, Sarthak.
Okay. Yeah, I called it.
Not to mention, KDB is actually on another hot lap. So for all we know, he might better his lap time.
Okay, I called it a bit too early, folks, but maybe I was right after all. But Envy's on a fast lap. I saw bits of purples on the track map as well. So 3 heavy hitters out on track, all on fast laps. Like even Streeter, for that matter. Okay, incredibly slow. So it is KDB, Envy, or Dalvin.
Yes, absolutely, Sarthak. And there's Abhi as well, I think. No, that's Abhi's AI. Forgive me. Dinara 1-up lap is invalidated.
Envy
KDB
goes
is coming up
fastest.
behind him.
Envy goes fastest with a 1 minute 27.977. KDB, he needs to beat this time if he wants to start on pole. He's already locked out the front row as he comes across the final corner. What are the odds he can beat it? Fresh set of softs. Did it do its magic? KDB across the line. Not good enough.
He improves by 4/10, Sarthak, and he misses out on pole by just a few hundredths. Just a few hundredths, Sarthak. This has been an incredibly close qualifying, not gonna lie. And Dalvin has actually gone into the pits, so I think his second hot lap was invalidated as well. So Dalvin has not been able to set a lap time, which means he will be starting at the back.
Yes.
Sarthak. He will be starting at the back of the pack.
What?
And yeah, I think these will be our final positions for qualifying.
Yeah, we can leave it here. To think that we could have just had Envy, KDB, Dalvin, and Streeter on the front two rows, and we're missing out on it just because of that invalidation. Tough, but it is what it is. Free tire choice for Dalvin. Maybe that'll play into his favor.
Absolutely, and not just that, Sarthak. There's a free tire choice for Mr. Vex as well. I mean, not a free tire choice, but he will be getting a fresh set of mediums because he'd worn out his mediums during quali itself, and now that we'll probably be in a fresh lobby, he will be starting on a fresh set of mediums, which puts him at a major advantage.
In-game voice on?
Yeah,
Yes,
and
your in-game voice is on. Sorry.
yeah, that's Vex in game confused. Fanatical gets a 5 place grip penalty. I wonder if that's gonna go to the stewards or not, but he will be serving it, which means he'll be starting P13 instead of Dalvin, 2 positions up for High Rocks 24 and Dalvin. They'll get a position up basically. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to 13 laps of intense racing coming our way. Some of the heaviest of hitters we know will be out on track. Unfortunately, we didn't get a full racing grid, but we're going to have a whole lot of action come race.
Absolutely, Sarthak. Also, to confirm, will we be having a new lobby? I think there have been glitches and issues.
Shall we?
think we should. Yeah, I think we should.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Make sure the drivers know. Meanwhile, folks in the chat, make sure you drop who you're here for. Who do you think will be on top? I think I saw Cuba Rabi also mentioning McLaren for the win. Now, today out on track, the boys who are in the McLaren are KDB and Dinara. So, yes, they have all the chances.
Absolutely.
They have all the chances of being on the podium, especially KDB.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And as you already know, of course, in game, I'd be rooting for McLaren as well, given it's my team in the BRL. But yeah, Ferrari or McLaren for me. Let's go.
Yeah, 2 legendary
Irrespective
brands.
of who's driving.
Oh, okay. Fair play to that. Are you sure though? What if I put SV in a McLaren? Then what happens?
Well, okay, that's one exception.
Bet he's
No,
taking
I'm
the
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
bet he's taking the inside line every time in that McLaren. Anyway, either ways,
Good one.
Saudi Arabia. I'm trying to recall what else was significant from BRL Saudi Arabian GP. But yeah, I'm still I can't stop talking about it. Just that last corner tactic from Derp. He did it so often, and Envy got caught up in it every time, and Derp just came out as a winner out of that corner every time.
Definitely. I mean, it is a good tactic because at the end of the day, you will have DRS on the main straight. So, and it's quite a long straight as well. So, there's always a good chance that you will, get the overtake done on that straight. So, I mean, yeah, I think the new lobby is up, Sarthak, and
Yeah, it
Envy has.
Should be up soon enough. Maybe, and we might just need help with the grid itself, Guts.
Yeah, I will just be back.
Yeah, great. So meanwhile, folks, when that resumes, for folks watching, I take it that most of you do sim race yourselves, and tomorrow, in fact, as in January 26th at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, we have an event of our own. Race Ventura, we're calling it. It's in collaboration with Team Crunch Time. It does have an entry fee of $1. But yeah, cash prizes for the winners. For the winner, for everybody on the podium, the fastest lap, and driver of the day even. And yeah, the highlight of it all is the fact that not every driver, but the viewers as well as drivers will receive proof of attendance protocols, POAPs if you're relevant with Web3, and the top 3 receive non-fungible tokens for themselves, which will give them access to entry, free entry in fact, for the rest of the events in this year hosted by RoadRunnerRacingCo Esports. So yeah, I think I just relayed a whole lot of information for you folks. Everything will be written down on our Discord, so make sure you join our Discord. I believe the link is in the description. If it's not, just mention it in chat and you will receive it. But yeah, looking forward to that event as well. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. IST, January 26th, is the Indian Republic Day. So that's a highlight in itself. Soon enough, we'll get into the new lobby and be set for the race. 13 laps.
Absolutely, and I'm back, Sarthak.
Great.
I think Envy has everything handled. There's our own very own Mr. UK in the voice channel, who isn't racing today, so he's helping Envy out with the qualifying order.
Great, that's perfect. That's fantastic. Assassinx seems eager to begin. He's been doing quite well, and I think even Andre joined in with him, and they're flashing away the ready up option, and I think somebody else joined in as well. I see 3 folks all set to ready up. But yeah, Dalvin last to first. I'm honestly disappointed RB Ferrello is not out on track, because it would have been beautiful to see both drivers climb up the order.
Absolutely, Sarthak. I mean, this is something RB Ferrello loves to do. And typically, this season of the RTCH, RB Ferrello has been in the Red Bull. So it looks like Dalvin's carrying on the tradition for RB Ferrello's seat.
Yeah, perhaps he is. Meanwhile, I believe all sorts of things going down in chat. But yeah, we have Derp as well. Derp, we were just talking about you and the final corner tactic you kept using in the BRL Saudi Arabian GP. But yeah, I'm excited. 13 laps. I believe we have 14 drivers. Did somebody join in late, or someone's not ready up? Oh, that would be me. Apologies.
Yeah, yes, Sarthak. Yeah, we need, I think another driver is missing, if I'm not wrong.
No, I think we're good. 13 drivers. I think we're set. We're ready.
Yeah.
13 drivers in the lobby, and soon we'll begin the formation lap. We're good to go.
Yeah, I think Envy is probably setting up the grid as some drivers joined late. And once that is done, I think since everybody's in the voice channel, there'll be a good amount of communication. So, yeah. It's going to be good to see. Going to be quite a race, considering we have a lot of the top drivers in the BRL at the front. We've got Envy and KDB starting side by side. KDB, of course, coming fresh out of a win in the BRL. And Envy, of course, leading the BRL championship by quite a large amount of points. We've got Streeter in P3, Abhi in P4. Mr. Vex, the only medium runner in the top 10. He will be starting on P5. And behind him, there's Dark Legacy, Denara 1-Up, Andre, Assassin Next, and Deathwish making up the top 10. So it's going to be really interesting to see Harry Rocks and Dalvin at the back really climb up the pack. And I'm really curious to see where they're going to end up, Sarthak.
Alright, so am I. Harox24, can he replicate what RB Ferrero usually does? Also, the weather, any hint at what the weather is for the race? I don't think it'll be hilarious if it rains in Saudi Arabia, but yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think as spectators, we don't really know what the weather is during quali, but the drivers are given that information during quali. So, I think Envy will have to handle that part.
All right.
And
Yeah.
forgot to mention, Andre set his lap time on the mediums as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be starting on the medium tires as well in the top 10.
Okay. Sounds about right. Okay. There you go, folks. It's a night race, and it's around the Jeddah Corniche Street circuit. What a brilliant Formula One race we had. In fact, now I'm recalling that was incredible in its own way. I don't think Red Bull and Mercedes fans would agree with me, but yeah,
No, I think Mercedes fans will agree with you. I think the Red Bull fans
yeah,
won't.
but it wasn't really all all good until until the Hamilton crossed the finish line. So I'm pretty sure they were off their seats for quite a bit. But anyway, that's Formula One. Right now it's race to 0 hour. It's the formation lap. 13 drivers out on track, and we saw the predicted pit stop strategy.
Yes, Sarthak, I'm just bringing up the tire details. And yes, we see, Mr. Vex and Andre on the top, in the top 10. On the mediums, we see Dalvin in P12 starting on the mediums as well. So only three drivers will be starting on the mediums this race. And it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, Sarthak.
Yeah.
We have Envy and KDB in the front. Obviously, whoever gets the better start into turn one, it's going to be very difficult to follow in the first sector.
Yeah, two of the medium runners in the top 10. I'm actually curious to see how strategy plays out on this track. Streeter and Abhi in the top 5. Duck Legacy relevantly much higher up the order compared to his last couple of race qualifying performances. So that's something curious as well. Fanatical starting from the back of the pack. We mentioned that right before we headed into the break for a new lobby. Deathwish finds himself P10.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And also, I think something to note might be the fact that I'm just looking at some data here. And there it is. So yes, Sarthak, it's going to be really good to see. I think turn one, I have a feeling we're going to be expecting some incidents because it's quite a narrow chicane, might I say. So if people are really ambitious going into turn one, it's going to be quite the problem. It's going to cause a lot of problems, as we saw in the real Formula One race itself. We had 3 DNFs after that chicane, actually. Mr. Sergio Perez, George Russell, and Mazepin all in a single corner at the same time. So if it happens in real life, then, well.
Yeah. Well, indeed. Unless you just got cut off, Gouts.
No, that's where I stopped. I'm sorry.
Quite the. Never mind. Quite a dramatic finish there to your sentence. But Dinara found himself getting disqualified from the formation lap. Will be starting on cold tires in the midfield, at least of this order. Yeah. Indeed. But yeah, 5 lights will go out soon enough. You can see them come on. It's Envy on pole position. KDB starts right alongside him, and 5 lights go out. And what a start Envy's got. He actually pulls away quite a bit. KDB tucks right behind him, but it's a dive down the inside. Abhi as well as Dark Legacy, but down the order he goes, Abhi, and Streeter holds on to P2, and down the order goes KDB as well. I wonder what went wrong.
Yeah, so KDB was caught up in a bit of an incident at turn one, like I said, Sarthak, and he was spun around. I think it was by Abhi, if I'm not wrong, as I saw both of them spinning around.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong because I didn't catch it properly.
Yeah, back to the midfield, Gouts. It's battles as KDB takes the fight to Dinara. He's lost 3 positions and past 2 corners, and up ahead we see Adox 24 taking the fight to Andre. Wheel to wheel, the 2 McLarens go, and it's KDB up at a P7.
Absolutely, Sarthak, and a significant jump in positions for Harry Rocks, who started at the back of the pack. He got from the back straight to P4 into turn 1 itself. So you can imagine how bad turn 1 actually was for most people.
Yeah.
Mr. Wex has dropped significantly as well, and Dalvin remains in P13 for now.
Yeah, you gotta look at this, guys. Hyrox24, Andre and Assassin next, all within a tenth of each other. Hyrox24 goes a bit wide in that part of the track and will hold on to P4. Now, how's Andre gonna play this out come the final corner? Meanwhile, right behind, KDB's made the move stick on Assassin next. Andre's trying to line up alongside Hyrox24. Hyrox24's wheel to wheel with Andre as they go across the final corner. He'd want to stay
And a
behind.
little push there.
KDB lines
And,
alongside.
Absolutely, and there, let's see how this goes into turn 1. Andre is picking up the pace on Harry Rocks. KDB did have a better exit than Andre. Ooh, a bit of contact there. KDB goes wide. He misses his braking point, I presume, and
No.
KDB loses a lot of positions there.
Oh, contact between Assassin X and KDB. That was nasty into turn 2 as well. So Hyrox24 survives that somehow, and Andre, the real winner out of that battle.
Absolutely, that was some intense battling there, Sarthak. I mean, all three of them side by side into turn 1. That was a very Ocon Verstappen Hamilton situation, if you remember, and Verstappen going wide like KDB did.
Oh, contact. Yes, precisely, guys. I agree with you 100%. But the amount of action out on track, Assassin Next almost rammed Hyrox24 into the wall. I don't know how he survived it, but he's still on the gearbox of Hyrox24 here. Assassin Next, as Hyrox24 almost hugs the wall in that part of the track. It's lap number 2, and the action hasn't reduced.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And something else I want to point out, I think Harry Rocks might actually have damage because...
Yeah, go ahead. The wheel to wheel, there's contact all around.
Oh, Assassin Next and Harry Rocks. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
now he actually has damage.
That was bound to happen. And right behind, it's the other Ferrari and virtual safety car as well. Mr. Vex has to hold back for a bit longer for that move on Dinara. Virtual safety car on lap number 2.
Oh, and Mr. Vex touches the wall as well. I wonder if he has wing damage as well now, Sarthak. He doesn't seem to be going into the pits, but oh my goodness, disaster.
Oh, okay.
For everybody there.
McLaren double stack. Let's take a look at how this pans out. Are they even in?
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, KDB is gonna have to wait because wing damage. Dinara had wing damage, so KDB is gonna have to wait for that much longer.
Yes.
But yeah, I think now. Is he serving a penalty? No. Yeah, changing his wing. Yep.
Yeah.
Seems about right. One really significant thing to point out is that double stacking is now a lot faster than it used to be in the game. So it's really something for teams to consider on track.
Yeah, let's hope. They actually had a conversation before heading into the pits together, but he did end up losing quite a bit of time, KDB. Meanwhile, the shortest gap out on track is between Dark Legacy and Streeter. Dark Legacy winning, the real winner out of all that chaos in lap 1.
Absolutely, Sarthak. I mean, Dark Legacy's really jumped up quite a few positions. I think 3 or 4 positions, if I'm not wrong. And he's actually catching up to Streeter as well. He's making some good ground on Streeter. He does have DRS on Streeter as well, and this is quite a long DRS straight. So what are we going to see going into the final corner? Is he going to make the move? He tries to peek down the inside. He may have a better exit than Streeter, or does he? No, he's quite far away from Streeter. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to make the move on Streeter for now.
Yeah, he's going to stay right behind Streeter for much longer than he'd like, I'm sure. Maybe next lap is when we'll see him capitalize on a shortcoming of Streeters. Meanwhile, Andre trying to close that gap to Dark Legacy. It almost seemed like he had, given that he's on the soft tires, and you can see that time coming down considerably between Assassin Next and Andre.
Absolutely. I think as Andre was going past, I have a feeling I just saw him hit the wall a little. So he may have lost a bit of his front wing there. But we'll know after this lap if he's really struggling, because he took that corner quite well at the moment. So I'm not really sure if his wing is completely intact. And yes, he is losing some time to Dark Legacy for now.
Yep. All
And Dark
eyes.
Legacy is really gaining on Streeter.
Exactly what I was going to point out. As they enter Sector 3, it was the same part of the track. It seemed ever so close between these two, and it is yet again. Meanwhile, at the back, Deathwish and Dalvin exchange positions. Dalvin up to P8. Now he's got a lot of ground to move up. Dinara's on the tail of Deathwish as well. Peeking down the inside, however, is Dark Legacy on Streeter. Will Streeter close that gap? He will hold back the Dark Legacy, and I think, yep, the game kicks him out.
Yeah, Andre, Dark Legacy. Okay, this is a lot of disconnections at the moment.
Let's hope they don't keep happening for all the drivers out on track. Now, to that midfield battle, which we were missing out on, Dinara taking the fight to Deathwish.
Absolutely. And
Yeah, down the inside, he should be able to get the move done, and yes, he will. He's up position. Deathwish erratically moving out on track. You might want to work on that. Up ahead, though, Andre losing a position to the likes of Assassin next.
Andre has been disconnected as well. As you can see, his ghost seems to be driving his car. And I think there have been some, as we saw, noticed, I think it was Dark Legacy and Andre who disconnected at the same time. So I have a feeling there is a bit of a problem in the lobby at the moment. Just hoping it doesn't cause other issues. But yeah, as we move on, Dalvin on the soft tires has climbed up about 6 positions from where he started. Currently in P7 and 15 seconds behind Abhi. So he's on fresh softs, and I'm guessing with if a safety car doesn't come out, he will have to finish on these softs. But he's gained quite a lot of time to Abhi, so I'm interested to see what he's going to be doing here.
Yep.
And Assassin next, now coming up on the AI of Dark Legacy. This might actually be the first time Assassin next has been in the podium positions.
Yeah, that's
of an RTZ hit race after.
Yeah, that's fantastic as Envy heads into the pits. Meanwhile, at the back, Mr. Wex is breathing down Dinara's gearbox right now.
Oh yes, he's very close there, and he makes the pass. Makes it look quite... Oh no, wait, that was Dinara letting Mr. Wex pass.
There you go.
Okay, so Dinara 1UP will have DRS here, will he? Yes, he does have DRS. But he's very far behind to actually make the move.
Exactly, so will it be enough for him to get that position off of Mr. Wex come turn 1? Definitely not. But it will get him as close as possible, as I think he fumbled into turn 1 and will lose that much more time to Mr. Wex. That will tumble over a second now, the gap.
Oh, absolutely. And Dinara 1UP going wide everywhere. Yep, he's lost a lot of time. I have a feeling Dinara 1... Oh, and he touches the wall again. Yeah, I think there's quite some damage on Dinara 1UP's car there. Andre seems to have rejoined the lobby now, and Andre is in P4. He has climbed, and he's really closing into Assassin next right here.
Yeah, that podium position seems to be short-lived at this rate. Andre is closing in. He's closing in. It's the same part of the track we've seen a few drivers close in on in the past 6 laps, and now he's on his gearbox. And around the outside, he's going to challenge him for the move as well. He's on mediums. No holds back.
Yeah, I think he wants DRS on the main straight, and he has a much better exit than Assassin next. Sarthak, this is advantage. Andre, come turn 1. He goes around the outside, makes the move look easy on those mediums, and will have the advantage into turn 1 unless Assassin X tries to drive down the inside. Oh, he tries hard, but oh, absolutely good thinking by Andre there, retaining DRS for the main straight, not passing Assassin next on the previous this one, and that puts him into P2, Sarthak.
And he's pulling away. Yeah, he's pulling away as well. So the fight goes on to Streeter now. Envy's pit. He's come out P5. He's running P5. I believe Abhi picked up a 5-second time penalty, I believe, for speeding in the pit lane. So unfortunate for him given where he started off. But on lap number 7, it's looking real good for the likes of Streeter, Andre and Assassin next.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And if Andre is actually able to close in the gap to Streeter, it's advantage Andre, because Streeter here has a 6-second time penalty. So Andre might just be looking at the win, but then again, Andre has to pit for a fresh set of soft tires, and he might lose quite a lot of time there, about 16 to 17 seconds. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he'll end up after his pit stop.
Yeah, and Gods, remind me again how much that gap was between Dalvin and the rest of the field up ahead. 15 seconds or so?
Yeah, now it's dropped down to 6.2 seconds to Envy. But then again, we just did see Envy pit, Sarthak.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that,
But
yeah.
yeah, but one safety car.
And Andre pitting, Andre going into the box.
Oh, and so does Assassin X and Dark Legacy. So both of them, contact between the two in the pit lane. But yeah, they dive into the pits as well. Last minute lunge by the likes of Dark Legacy.
Absolutely. And Envy will take the lead of the race once again. I think Streeter in the pits as well. Dalvin, on the other hand, will take P3 for now. But for how long, Sarthak? Because I think Dalvin pit quite early on the for the softs, so his softs might be wearing out quite a lot at the moment. And yeah, Andre on very fresh softs right behind Dalvin, and as you can see, Sarthak, he's cutting time to Dalvin quite quickly.
Yeah, but there's a fight which is set to pursue, and Assassin X, he's around the outside, he goes on Dinara, but Dinara, he's going right back at Assassin X as he nicks the wall into the entrance of Sector 2. And he keeps it within half a second of him. Now Dinara's on Assassin X.
And Dinara has DRS, and he will take that position, or will he? Assassin X goes down the inside. Good clean racing here, giving each other a good amount of space. That's something we always like to see, Sartha. Clean racing.
Yeah, exactly. And by two rookies, in fact, as Assassin X gets a tad bit of an advantage, they've got KDB to worry about, who loses a bit of his rear. It's all happening, folks, out on track in virtual safety car.
Oh, VSC, I wonder what happened, Sarthak. I'm not really sure what happened.
It might have
Oh,
just...
there is an Alfa Romeo, if I'm not wrong. I think that's Fanatical, but that's an AI that's driving.
Oh,
that's
no front wing. Yeah.
No, that is him. Yep.
Yeah, no front wing. No front wing. Makes all the sense in the world.
Absolutely. So that's why the VSC came out. And Dalvin, Andre has... look at that, Sarthak. He was 1.4 seconds behind Dalvin on the previous lap. And those fresh tires are really giving him a major boost right now. He's already on Dalvin's tail.
Yeah, it's damage limitation for Dalvin unless there's a full safety car and things just pan out the way he'd like. Yep.
Absolutely. Then again, I think if there is a full safety car, there are only 4 laps left. So...
Oh,
there you go, sir.
Full safety car after all. Full safety car on the account of Fanatical's car retiring out on track now. That was his AI, wasn't it, Gouts?
No, it was actually Fanatical. His car was ghosted for a while. I thought it was his AI at first, but then the car turned solid again. So it was definitely him.
That means he went...
it was ghosted only because he had damage.
That means he must have spun out or hit the wall or something, because that's the end of his race. And we got a full safety car after all, Gouts. Am I right?
Absolutely, okay. Sarthak. The safety car is out on track, which means out of the 4 laps remaining, we may get to see only 1 lap of racing, Sarthak. And now I want to see if people like Dalvin are actually going to pit for a fresh set of softs, considering Dalvin does have old softs.
Yeah, he's entered Sector 3 and soon enough he'll be around the final corner. Maybe we'll catch that. It's Dalvin and the likes of a couple of the drivers who come out on the mediums. Do you think they'll wager into the pits as well?
Not really sure, Sarthak, because honestly, Envy has the track position advantage here, and he does have the pace as well. And Streeter dives into the pits, so he will be coming out on a fresh set of softs.
Yeah,
which means and Dalvin stays out, Sarthak.
Exactly. Yeah. But then again, he has time. He has time to decide, but he'd want to make that call pretty early on. Let's see what Dark Legacy stays out on track. That's his AI, of course. Assassin next. Dinara as well. KDB enters the pits, Scouts.
Yeah, so KDB will be going in for a fresh set of softs as well. And that puts Envy in P1, Dalvin in P2, and Andre in P3. And Mr. Vex also has had quite the climb so far. Considering he lost a lot of positions at race start because of being involved in incidents, and a lot of drivers on the mediums here, but major disadvantage Dalvin here because he's got really old softs right now.
Yeah, and Deathwish finds himself right behind Envy. He needs to pass that safety car. He's at the very end, and hopefully he'll get to soon enough. Hideout 24 trying to close that humongous gap. He's almost in his own little race in Sector 3 as he comes along Sector 3. Not something he'd be happy with. And that's a spin for Deathwish. 5-second penalty after severe collision with Envy. And he retires from the session out on track. That's going to be a penalty for him unless something else was the issue. Envy, how much of damage does he have?
Not really sure, Sarthak. I did not catch that. And yeah, Deathwish has retired on track. So this is going to be a bit of an issue, I guess. But then again, KDB catching up to the pack. He's not very far away. And then there's Harry Rocks, who's way behind. He's at least a sector behind.
And 10 of you all watching, make sure you drop in the chat. Which driver do you think will end up on the podium? Right now, it looks like if everything goes his way, Dalvin will be on the podium.
Oh, absolutely. Because of the time penalties all around him, I think considering Dalvin can hold his own for about one lap, the podium is absolutely his.
Assassin.
Andre has a major time. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Assassin X heads into the pits as well, along with Dark Legacy. Yet again, so it is a switch to softs after all by another two medium runners.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And as I was mentioning, Andre has, in the top 3 at least, is running the freshest tires. He's on 2 lap old softs, and considering those 2 laps were under the safety car, he'll have barely anywhere. So for on-track position at least, it's advantage Andre over Dalvin and Envy. But let's see how it goes. If Dalvin will actually be able to hold up Andre, and even if Andre does pass Dalvin, will he be able to pull a 3-second gap to Dalvin and keep P2?
Oh, the permutations and combinations, Gouts. But in the midfield,
oh my goodness.
In the midfield, I'm thinking Dinara and Abhi look like sitting ducks. They were 3 soft runners, fresh softs, Streeter, KDB, Assassin X. I mean, how long do you think they'll even hold them up?
Why exactly are Dinara and Abhi switching positions? This seems to be... I think they must have had a bit of a problem on track. And yes, Sarthak, I agree with you 100%. They're going to be absolute sitting ducks at race restart. Considering they're not going to be able to heat up their tires as quick as the ones on the softs. And considering the ones on the softs are going to have nice hot tires at race restart, and they're going to be flying, especially likes of Streeter and KDB, who's very well known to have brilliant starts, race starts and safety car restarts.
Yeah, I just hope, no incidents, as these 3 drivers probably will chop through the field. Safety car in this lap, Gouts. We will have 2 laps of racing after all.
Absolutely, Sarthak. Something we always like to see. More racing. Let's go.
Yeah. How much will Envy bunch up the field? Because he knows come the final corner, he's going to be at a disadvantage. The rest of the drivers can pull off slipstream as much as they can. Will attempt to dive down the inside like we saw on lap number 1. It didn't go some of the drivers' ways. For the likes of KDB, it didn't. He finds himself now P8 on fresh set of softs at the safety car restart. He's coming along the final corner, Envy. And there you go, folks. He's pulled away as well. Now Dalvin is here sitting duck to Andre this time around, because in the midfield we got 2 sitting ducks. Lap number 12 begins. We resume racing.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And I think something to note is that we will not have DRS for the rest of this race, given DRS is enabled only after 3 laps of racing. Yeah. And we will not have DRS, so Andre will have to try
and we've got a battle out there. It's Streeter on the likes of Abhi, like we predicted. Abhi goes completely wide. Streeter lost a position to KDB, who plays it smart. They're wheel to wheel now. 4 drivers, double spin.
And a collision there.
Oh my God, disaster.
That was absolute disaster for Dinara 1UP and Abhi. Oh my goodness, that collision was very unnecessary, obviously. But it is racing and it happens. Harry Rocks makes a move around the outside of Dark Legacy, but isn't really able to make it stick.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gouts, up in front, Dalvin, he's lost that position to Andre. Andre's on a charge now. He's got Envy set in his sights.
Absolutely, and if you can see the timings, Sarthak, Andre is really cutting that time to Envy quite quickly.
Oh, meanwhile, Gouts, again another battle. KDB taking it to Streeter. Sector 2 lit up purple for him as well. And he's lining up alongside him as they enter into Sector 3. And they're almost banging wheels. And I think there was contact as well. But into the final corner, KDB won't pull away, will hold back. And Streeter is vulnerable.
He is, and Streeter, good defending by him there. But Streeter has far less battery than KDB. So KDB should be able to make the move. He goes down the inside, and wow, when KDB makes a move like that, he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Yeah, every time. 3-second time penalty for Streeter. Up ahead, Andres closed that gap to almost a second. Now Sector 1 lighting up yellow, so there's fumbles in the back of the pack. Let's go back up ahead. Vex on to Dalvin.
Also, Sarthak, Vex, yeah, he's really closing into Dalvin, and let's see how this goes. Time penalties are going to be deciding the whole race because Dalvin is the only one here without any time penalties, and he's actually looking good for a race win, Sarthak. He's looking great for a race win.
How the tables have turned for the man who started all the way down in P12. He's pulling away from Mr. Vex. Up ahead, Andres almost within half a second. Now 8/10 away from Envy, who's probably deploying every ounce of battery he's got. And so is Dalvin, I presume. The top four all within a second of each other.
Absolutely, and the way things are going, Envy is obviously quite far ahead of Andre, and he will be approaching the final corner soon. Which means if Envy gets the final corner right, race win will be his, Sarthak.
Yeah, on track and just on track. Unless post-race time penalty is decided across the finish line, on track comes Envy as race winner. But it's Dalvin, he's weaving, he's fending off Vex as much as he can. And it's Dalvin who wins race number 5 provisionally.
Absolutely, and KDB picking up the fastest lap of the race as well. There were actually 2 fastest laps on that final lap. There was, I think, Andre picking it up first and KDB taking it after. So good effort there by all the drivers.
What a finish. Yeah, Dalvin fended off Vex pretty damn well, even though he didn't have to.
Absolutely, and Dalvin making it 2 in a row, Sarthak. How about that, huh?
It's just the beginning. Just the very beginning. Only 5 races done of Race to Zero hour, and many, many more to come. And we've already got 2 two-time race winners. I believe Streeter as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 2 race wins for Streeter, 2 race wins for Dalvin. Hopefully my stats check out there. And 1 race win for, I believe, Envy.
RB Ferrell. I'm not sure. And also, I think UK seems to mention in the chat that Envy's penalty will be removed, considering his penalty was an unfair one. So I think Envy is the winner of this race, considering it's coming from Stewart itself.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I was right there when I said Davin wins this provisionally. After all, I'm pretty sure a lot of deliberation will go through in the front of Envy's penalties as well as Andre's penalties, who is out on track as well in the top 3. But I don't think the podium will change. So it will be Andre, Envy and Dalvin on the podium.
Yeah, true. I think there was a bit of a glitch in the final standing. So yes, it will be Envy, Dalvin and Andre on the podium, making up the podium.
All right, great. Fantastic podium, fantastic race, Gouts. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hope you did too. And hopefully...
Oh, absolutely, Sarthak.
Yeah, and hopefully the folks who stay till the very end, I believe 13 of you all watching, make sure you return again on Thursday for race number 6. Until then, folks, we'll see you on race day yet again. Cheers, Gouts.
Cheers, Sarthak.